Discover Pretoria. 10 interesting facts you should know about this South African city. Welcome back to the Africa Revealed channel. In today's video, we will be discovering the streets and secrets of the South African city and administrative capital, Pretoria. The city is popular for its long line of history and potted place in South African heritage. Apart from that, it is a beautiful city and has an important role in the higher education of South Africa. If discovering new things about the world trickles your interest, keep tuned to Africa Revealed, hit the subscribe button and join in on the journey. The team is always interested in feedback and we love hearing what you have to say in the comments. So please feel free to like and leave comments. Let's get into it. 10. The Union Building. The Union Building symbolizes the Union of South Africa that happened in 1910. The physical building's first cornerstone was laid in November 1910, only shortly after the country's union, and took 3 more years and 1,265 workers to build. The magnificent building that lies on the highest point of Pretoria consists of 2 identical wings that are joined by a semicircle colonnade, finished with towers on each side. The semicircle colonnade structure also serves as the backdrop of the amphitheatre. Though the building itself is only accessible to government officials, the public is free to roam the stunning gardens that are declared a South African National Heritage Site. The Union Building is a big tourist attraction due to its great symbolism, history, and museum-like effect, with statues and memorials. The lawn in front of the building is often occupied and used for celebrations or protest. It deems fit to hold a protest in front of the Union Building, seeing that it is one of the 2 official seats of the president. 9. Voortrekker Monument. The Voortrekker Monument is a huge granite building that is built on a hilltop in the southern part of Pretoria. It is an intricate part of Afrikaner history and pays tribute to the Voortrekkers who left Cape Colony between 1835 and 1854. The Voortrekker Monument, like the gardens of the Union Building, is also a National Heritage Site. The construction of the 40-meter high monument, with a base of 40 by 40 meters, started in July 1937. But the cornerstone wasn't laid until December 1938 by the grand and great-granddaughters of the 3 of the Voortrekker leaders. Later in 1949, a large amphitheatre that seats approximately 20,000 people was built in the same year that the Prime Minister inaugurated the monument. The amphitheatre is still in regular use and often hosts music festivals and events. 2 main points of interest inside the building are the historical frieze and the cenotaph. The building's main entrance leads to the Hall of Heroes, that is a massive space flanked by 4 arched windows made from yellow Belgian glass and contains the unique marble historical frieze, which is the central part of the design of the monument. It is also the biggest marble frieze in the world. The frieze is made up of 27 bas-relief panels that cover the entire dome-formed wall, depicting the history of the Great Trek. As for the cenotaph, it is located centrally in the Cenotaph Hall and can be viewed both from the Hall of Heroes and the dome at the top of the building. What makes the cenotaph so amazing is that a ray of sunlight that is led through the roof shines directly on the inscription, Ons vir jou, Suid-Afrika, We are for you, South Africa, on the 16th of December, the same day that the Battle of the Blood River took place. 8. Pretoria National Botanical Garden, NBG. The extraordinary 76-hectare garden used to be part of the University of Pretoria's experimental farm. It was only in July 1946 when the Department of Agriculture granted approval for the development of a botanical garden. The University of Pretoria came to the conclusion that they could anyway not use the land for experimenting as they found an abundance of poison leaf, Discipatulum cymosum, which is poisonous to livestock. So much for an experimental farm, but luckily for the poison leaf, Pretoria now has one of the most beautiful botanical gardens and houses a herbarium which has the largest collection of plant specimens in southern Africa, with over 1 million specimens of plants. The National Herbarium is a collection of dried, pressed and mounted plants which are labeled for scientific study. In the botanical garden's early years, it wasn't open for the public and was only used for research purposes. That was until 1984, when it was decided that the public should share in the garden, and it was officially open for the public to visit on a daily basis. 7. The University of Pretoria. The University of Pretoria, which is more colloquially known as UP or Tux, is one of the top universities in Africa and is the largest contact university in South Africa. It has a multi-campus layout consisting of Hatfield, Onderstepoort, Groenkloof, Prinshof, and Illovo campuses. The Hatfield campus is the main campus, consisting of the administrative offices and 6 of the 9 faculties. Onderstepoort campus is home to the Faculty of Veterinary Sciences, the only place in South Africa that educates veterinarians and veterinary nurses. At the Groenkloof campus, you'll find the Faculty of Education. Prinsloof campus, along with the Steve Biko Hospital, Tshwane District Hospital, Kalafong Hospital, Weskopje Psychiatric Hospital, and Tembisa Hospital, make up UP's Faculty of Health Sciences. The Illovo campus, though situated in Johannesburg, is part of UP and serves as its business school. I can promise you that the scriptwriter was scoffing as she wrote the part about the University of Pretoria. Though she knows it was one of the top universities in Africa, her pride of her own university gives her a slight dislike to Tuks. I quote, "Dicks of nicks, Tuks or nothing." Or maybe it's their rugby rivalry. 6. The University of South Africa, UNISA. The University of South Africa, which is more commonly referred to by its acronym, UNISA, is the largest open distance learning institution in Africa and the longest standing dedicated distance education university in the world. UNISA currently has 350,000 registered students and has over 700,000 alumni. The university also brags by a statistic of enrolling nearly a third of South African students. These numbers cause UNISA to rank as a mega university. It is the only mega university in Africa. Most of the programs offered are internationally accredited, giving their students recognition and employability in most countries worldwide. The University of the Cape of Good Hope was founded in 1873 and renamed the University of South Africa in 1916. In its early years, while it was still the University of the Cape of Good Hope, this university was an examining agency for Oxford and Cambridge universities and acted as a starting point for many other universities in South Africa. It used to be a federal institution seated in Pretoria, having trusteeship over a few other universities in South Africa. 7 universities throughout the country fell under this trusteeship, but became independent universities later on. 5. Most embassies in Africa. South Africa ranks 26th on the highest ranking list of the most embassies in the world. South Africa's embassies and high commissions are all found in Pretoria, all 134 of them. This makes Pretoria the city with the most embassies in Africa. In 2014, Pretoria ranked just under Washington, D.C. for the title of the city with the most embassies in the world, but this number has changed since. The primary purpose of an embassy is to assist citizens who wish to travel to or live in a host country. The Foreign Service officers have the job of interviewing citizens of the host country who wish to travel to other countries for business, education, or tourism purposes. 4. Pretoria or Tswani. Around the year 2000, the South African government initiated a process to change the name of the city Pretoria. It was decided that it should be renamed to Tswani. The exact origins of the new name is not for certain, though there are some speculations. One of the speculations is that it is named after the son of the chief Mushi, Tswani, who settled in the area about a century before the arrival of the Voortrekkers in the early 1800s. Another speculation is that it is named after the Apies River, Monkey River, that runs through Pretoria, as the Sotho and the Tswana word for monkey is Tsweni, and sounds a lot like Tswani. The last speculation is that Tswani comes from the Tswana black cow. This would come from the tradition of sprinkling water on a black cow and letting it graze as part of a rain-making ceremony. But the name was never changed successfully due to a big resistance from the Afrikaans community that regarded Martinus Pretorius as a hero and a big part of their heritage. 3. Church Square. Church Square, that was originally named Market Square, got its name from its original purpose. Back in the early days of Pretoria's founding, the square in the city central was used as a marketplace. The Voortrekkers would come with their ox wagons full of supplies and do business. The first market shed was erected in 1910. Only thereafter more market sheds and paving were built in the square. Back in the day, the people also held church in the square, which led them to the need of a physical church building. In 1856, the first church was built in Church Square. Later it was replaced by a larger building that burnt down in 1882. Shortly after this incident, a third church was built, the Verenigde Kerk, Unified Church. But this building too was demolished shortly after President Paul Kruger's state funeral was conducted from it. Apart from the original two purposes of the square also attracted other types of businesses, and today Church Square is surrounded by several historically and architecturally significant buildings such as the Palace of Justice, the Old Capitol, the Two-Door Chambers, the O Raadsaal, Old Council Chamber, and the General Post Office. 2. Hazel Food Market. If you're a foodie or just looking for something different and interesting to do on a Saturday morning or afternoon, I propose visiting the Hazel Food Market. The Hazel Food Market can be found in Queen's Crescent, Linwood in Pretoria. The market is packed with fresh produce, flowers, spices, cheeses, cakes, and snacks to keep you from becoming hungry while shopping or meeting up with friends. The initiative of the market is not as old as the other things discussed, like Church Square, but is a rather new idea considering that it only started in 2009. The main idea of the market is to bring a piece of the country fresh produce to the bustling city. The market consists out of 78 stalls but still keeps a cheerful and relaxed atmosphere. In 2015, the owner of the market decided to introduce a night market too. The night market has a more vibrant atmosphere that invites night owls to support the just over 60 stalls that sell food, craft beer, wine, and cocktails. 1. Jacaranda City. Last but not least, Pretoria often goes by the name Jacaranda City. The streets of Pretoria are lined with more than 70,000 jacaranda trees that produce little purple flowers. During the flowering season, which is between October and November, the fragrance of the jacaranda flowers fills the air and makes it quite pleasing to take a walk. One should just be cautious if you're allergic to bees, because the purple trumpet-shaped flowers are also a big bee magnet. Ironically enough, Pretoria is the city with the second most jacaranda trees in South Africa, but its title still remains intact. Another big irony is that the jacaranda tree is also not indigenous to South Africa, or even Africa. It is a tree that is imported from Argentina and Brazil with the intent to beautify the city. Pretoria, along with its heritage, history, nature, and education, tells a story of where South Africa once was and where it is now. I think any visitor should try and make a tour through Pretoria when visiting South Africa. I look forward to reading your comments and answering any questions you might have about the city. And if you're not subscribed yet and want to learn more about Africa, now's the time to join the Africa Reveal journey. Until next time,